Hi, so today I want to talk to you guys about when AI can build in minutes, how does user experience design keep up with the developers that are powered by AI? So, my name is Becki Floyd, and I am a user experience designer at VoxPopMe. VoxPopMe is a video market research company that allows you to speak to consumers immediately. Um, and since starting to work there last May, I have completely changed my UX processes. Before working at VoxPopMe, I worked for the NHS, and it was an absolute nightmare to be able to get user research because of the amount of time it would take. Since starting at VoxPopMe, not only do I have access to as much user research as I want instantaneously, I also have been given the freedom to use whatever AI tools I want in order to make the best designs possible. So this has enabled me to come up with a brand new UX design process, which I want to share with you today. So, when writing this talk, I thought it would be interesting to show you the process that I follow when I'm building a new website or new app. So, decided to make a website for my friend Cherry. Um, so Cherry, last year when I got married, she agreed to be the celebrant for my Sister Act themed wedding, and she agreed to dress up in this lovely green outfit to get us married. Um, she did such a good job. She actually did her celebrant course and has now switched careers and is a wedding celebrant, which has meant that she needed a website. And because I needed a case study, I offered to build her website using my new processes so I can show you how it now works. So, the most important thing before you use any of these new AI vibe coding tools to make your prototypes is to have as many conversations as you can. So at VoxPopMe, we will always speak to the product managers to understand what the customers have been saying, what the issues are, any stakeholders, and most importantly, the developers. The developers have such a good understanding of the platform and where any challenges may lie with changing anything. It's really important to speak to everyone that is involved before you do anything, um, and capture everyone's ideas. Don't just come up with your own ideas. Try and use the hive mind to get as many ideas as you can. Um, at VoxPopMe, we make sure that all the calls are recorded, and that gives us access to the transcripts. So when I've got all the transcripts, I'm able to turn that into something called a product requirement document, which means that we have an outline of what we're actually trying to build. So this is something I was able to do with Cherry. So I sent her a questionnaire that had all the information about what she wanted on the website, what she wanted to include. Um, and then we sat down and we had a recorded conversation. And then I was able to take those documents and put those into ChatGPT and ask for a product requirement document. And that got me the initial information that I needed to start making a prototype. So nowadays, I don't use Figma to design. I used to be a massive advocate for Figma. In fact, when I joined the NHS, I moved our whole design system from Actual into Figma and gave the team a 5-week training course on Figma because it was so much better than Actual. But since joining VoxPopMe, I've tried lots of different vibe coding tools, um, and it's just so much better and so much quicker to use vibe coding tools than Figma. So I've completely moved over to vibe coding now. So there's different ways of of doing vibe coding. So you may just jump onto a website like Lovable or Replit or Figma Make, and just go straight into a prompt. So build a website for a celebrant offering weddings, funerals, naming ceremonies, and celebrations of life, and that will give you a version. So you may act as a project manager, and have that project requirement document, which is going to have your design style, the goals, the success metrics, and put that into the vibe coding platform you're using, and that's going to give you a much better outcome. But as a UX designer, I now follow this process in order to get the absolute best outcome from vibe coding tools. So I'm going to go through that with you now, and I'm going to show you. So as I explained earlier, I now work for VoxPopMe. So VoxPopMe has over 1 million people in their audience. So if you have any questions, you can reach out and you can find research. So let's say I want to build a celebrant website. I want to understand why people pick celebrants over legal registrars. So we have an AI tool in VoxPopMe that will actually create this research project for you. You can fully edit it, or you can create from scratch if you choose to. But basically what it does is it will make some objectives for you. It will you can choose between unmoderated, which is basically it will just send the questions out to people, or moderated, which uses an AI moderator, and it will have a conversation and it will prompt people. It's much more natural with the AI moderator. You can put any demographics, any screeners to make sure that you're speaking to the right people, and it will screen out anyone that doesn't meet this criteria. And it will make some quant questions for you. And then these are the video questions where you'll actually see people speaking on a camera. So videos, once you've submitted it, you tend to start getting videos back within about 15 minutes. So for cherries, I did I did some research in why people choose a funeral celebrant. And as you can see there, you've got the actual people that, and it's got the full conversation. So I use the AI moderator for the funeral one, and I use just the normal video responses for the wedding one. So you can use AI Insights, and it will give you, if you go to the project objective summary, it will give you AI reports. So it will explain, rather than having to watch all of the videos, it will give you a summary of what the research is. There's also, so it's saying that people chose it because they want to personalize it, they wanted non-traditional, they wanted it to be part of their culture, as humor. So this has given us all that user research that we needed. We also have the AI chat, so you can do things, you can ask it any questions about your research, but you can do things such as make me a user persona for someone who is looking for a wedding celebrant. And it will make you the user persona based on actual research. And you can, so this is all these quotes. These are actually from real people that have been asked. So something like this would have taken me months at the NHS to get through, and I did this overnight. And you've got all your videos there, so you know that this is based on actual research. So VoxBotMe has been an absolute game changer with getting user research. So I was able to do quite a bit of user research for Cherry's website. So once I've done that, the next step would be to do your secondary research. So there's lots of different tools that you can use for deep research, and I'll give you a handout at the end. But some of my favourites are Parallel, ChatGPT, deep research mode, and Claude's brilliant as well. You can also ask it to do market comparisons, so you can basically send ChatGPT's agent off and say compare wedding celebrants, and that gives you all that research you need. So once you've got the primary and the secondary research, you can then build a research repo to keep everything in one place. So I've actually moved over to Claude since I started with this, but this one I did in ChatGPT. So what I would recommend you doing is over here, you've got projects, and you just start new projects. So everything that you do regarding that website, put in a project. And what you can do is you can put all of the research in that you've done. So what I like to do is, before I do my new project requirement document, is have a conversation. So I use voice mode, which is down here, and I'll talk to it about the user flow that I want, and I'll get it to challenge me. I will then ask it for questions. I'll then ask it for questions about the research that it would like to answer, and then I can go back into VoxBotMe and I can ask the AI chat the questions that they wanted to know, and then finally that gives you the project requirement document. Here we go. So we've got it'll give you the project overview, the problem statement, your objectives, who your target audience is. So this is all based on your actual research. And as you can see, it's quite detailed. So I'm going to show you how that makes a difference. So this is the tool that I use for brand new websites. It's called Replit. I prefer how this works over Lovable. Everyone has different preferences. Try them all. But so I started off, what was the prompt? I said, build a website for a celebrant. And this is what it gave me back. Generic website. Looks awful. So the second version that I did was I put in the initial product requirement document. And this gave me, it was more in Cherry's style, but still it's kind of still going for, it's using her wording, but it's all lumped together. It's not a personalized experience. So putting the more detailed project requirement document in, this is where we got to. So now it lands you on a page and you're asked to pick which event you're celebrating, and a wedding one is going to look completely different to, and have different style of writing as the funeral one. So you're not having happy language on this. So it's giving it that personalized experience that people asked for. So I So I was able to use Replit to build this personalized website, but we don't stop there. We still need to do more user testing. So let me show you that. So before we do actual user testing, I now ask ChatGPT agent, or you could use Claude extension. There's lots of different agents that you can use, but basically all you do is you click that little plus button there, and then change it to agent, give it the website address, and say to it, I want you to act as this persona. So take the persona that you built earlier and say, I want you to have a look to see if there are any issues with this website. And it will give it a really good once over. You can ask to build different user personas. You can say act as a UX designer, and it will give you tips that some are good, some are bad. You use your personal judgment, but it will get rid of any issues that you may have before you test the website. So I definitely recommend using AI agents to do basic UX testing. It does not replace the actual testing with people, though. So this is where I ran through I ran it through VoxPopMe. So initial website testing. So what were the questions I asked? What was your first impression of the website? How well does it reflect your vibe? What changes would you like to make it more appealing to you? So with this one, I made sure that it was people that wanted an alternative wedding. So I was making sure that we were speaking to Cherry's audience. So we can go and check the AI chat. What were the main pain points that people mentioned with the website? So the first piece of testing I did was I gave them the prototype link and I asked them what their first impressions were. I also did a screen recording one where I was able to actually watch them use the website so I could see any issues that people were having with the task that I gave them. So that enabled me to find out what the pain points were. So I found out that people wanted to see the prices. They said there wasn't enough pictures. So what I decided to do was, for each of the pages, I moved the pictures up so it's more colourful, and on each page we had actual pricing and what it actually involved. So when I had the new website, I was then able to test it again to find out whether the objectives have been met. So let's have a look at that. That people were really happy that the pricing is now transparent. They loved the personality that we'd put into it, and it was the website was easy to use and navigate around. Still could have some improvement with too much text. Some people said that it was a bit text heavy, and other people were saying that they didn't really like the kind of the gothic styling, but that is kind of Cherry's brand, so that's a decision for her. And then there were some good ideas about maybe some example ceremony scripts, and So there's still areas of improvement that we could consider, but compared to the first version, this got a lot more positive feedback. So that's I'm going to say that was a success. So Cherry has her new website, so she's happy. So that is generally my process. So I realized that was a bit of a whistle stop tour, but what I've done is I've put together all of the prompts and links in a handout. So that handout basically will go through, so there's a link to a trial version of Vox Pop Me where you'll get 10 free questions. You've got all of your secondary research. I've put some videos in there for you to learn a little bit more, how to create a research repo. If you have any questions, then you've got my LinkedIn up here as well. So hopefully that's been helpful for you. But yes, please reach out to me if you have any more questions. Thank you for listening. I've been Becki Floyd, and hopefully this has been of use to you.